Hey, everybody. How we doing
Morning.
tonight?
Ho, ho, ho.
Very good. Very vibrant.
No.
I agree with that sentiment.
Yes.
Yes. I, for one, am glad that we have another day of adventuring ahead of us, one where we get to experience the wonderful joys of each other's companies.
How many companies do you have?
At the moment,
LLCs?
only four, because one of these people is being a little bit stinky. But that's
So true.
okay. For
Everyone
now,
forgets to shower every now and then.
we begin. The party is waking up. Many of you would have had a hard time sleeping this last night, as the wind blared ferociously, and at times there was thunder striking nearby trees. But thanks to Darius's efforts, each of you were able to get an effective night's sleep nonetheless. As you begin to awake to, honestly, more howling storms, there's a little bit in the sky of the clouds starting to glow brighter rather than the pitch black that they have been over the night. The fire nearby burns low, and many of the other elves in the area have retired to their tents.
Well, how was everyone's night? Actually, don't answer that. I already know.
Oh, you're not fun to talk to in the morning anymore. You just read our mind. Imagine, all those fun times, we'd share silly stories about our dreams in the morning. All gone.
I cannot remember a single time that I've ever heard any conversation between any of us about actual dreams.
Oh, there was that one about Rifter being a farmer or something. That was pretty good.
I was already the god of dreams. I was already.
I guess it got more fun, maybe, after. Interesting.
Whatever. So, do we know what our whole plan is going into that?
Well, I would imagine Schoonhoff knows more.
What is Schoonhoff doing? He's awake a little bit before the rest of the party is.
He's probably parsing through the journal that he was given, unaware of everyone else.
Schoonhoff, you find anything good in there? Go and kind of tap him on the shoulder.
Oh, yes, should have marked this down somewhere. Let's see here. City of the Elves. No mortals should go. Safeguards to prevent viewing. No information on the surrounding areas. Honestly, the journal doesn't provide much answers either. At least what I have read up to. Give me some more time.
Of course. The storm here seemed worse than last night to any of you.
What do you mean?
Just, I don't know. Maybe I'm just being worried about it potentially escalating. Ticking clocks and all.
not
Wondering
sure.
if. Sorry, continue.
I was just going to say I'm not sure. This this whole area's weather patterns are unfamiliar to me to begin with. So. I know some people tend to stick to the phrase "it's going to get worse before it gets better," but
Well, I guess we are all too well aware of that as well.
fortunately we seem to be on the "it gets better" side of things. For now, anyways.
Fingers crossed.
Let's keep that wave going.
The elf
I'll
who
let-
stood lookout over the night moves over and hands each of Schoenhof and Zeus, the two who are adjacent to him, small pieces of tenderized, baked, and seasoned meats. Small strips like jerky, handing one of them to Schoenhof and 3 of them to Zeus, and then pointing at the other 2 behind him.
Of course. He's going to, in Elvish, say, thank you so much.
He gives a gentle nod and then puts his finger to his lips. Returns to the rock and scoops up some of the grass beneath and puts it to his ear.
This is going to, as he's doing that, pass out the jerky.
Oh, joy. Breakfast.
Yes, I think we should remain quiet for a moment. He might be listening for something.
Just gonna nod.
He talks to the grass and then listens to what the grass says and then replants it. And just continues being on lookout the same as he ever was.
I'm going to give kind of like a thumbs up, but expression of like, is it good? All good?
He does not look your way.
It's a cultural thing. I don't know.
You seem really interested in mingling with the tribe.
Well, I think it's kind of fun. I don't know. I mean, you know, when you find people that you can speak the same language of, it's kind of enjoyable to just flex that muscle, you know?
Hmm. So similar situation to the thing in the basement, for lack of a better descriptor.
Yes, exactly. It's just kind of, you know, enjoyable experience.
I still hate that you can speak that more fluently than I can.
I believe that was what I was going for.
Although, even our skills combined don't even approach that of a native speaker.
That's true. But, having the skill is better than not.
Hey,
Although-
who knows? Maybe when I die and I'm no longer constricted by these, and he points at his neck, I might be able to learn,
I don't like that thought.
and I can one up you there too.
I thought you were supposed to give us like nice dreams. I thought that was the type of god you were, not of like nightmares and painful memories.
Oh no, nightmares are still dreams. I just also believe in desires and how they interact with your dreams and your aspirations.
Not true.
Some people aspire to greatness, some people aspire to bedevilry. I think I'll treat them overall the same when I end up wherever, but we'll have to see what ends up happening.
Fair.
A woman comes from the northern tent, prods the fire a few times and adds a few more sticks to it before returning to the tent.
Oh, you know what? It's the next dawn. I think our weapons should be done.
Exciting.
Alright. You mentioned something about that.
Darius reaches out his hand, and it returns to him.
And out of the air, kind of like midway through, pulling it out almost as if it's like a pocket in the air. He pulls out the lance, but this time it looks a little different. It's got this like this dark glow to it almost, but like a glow wouldn't even be the right word for it because light emanates a glow, but it's almost an a faint absence of light as it approaches to it, this like darkness. And as he moves it and examines it, it almost like is hard to see as it like that glow shimmer almost follows it like a wave behind it, almost like a kind of after image as he's looking at it. Wow, that's a little hard on the eyes, but he chuckles a little bit, but kind of tosses it up with both hands and catches it with one hand. Wouldn't expect any less from him, and he kind of drops it back into his little pocket dimension.
Very
Certainly a
intimidating
gorgeous
looking.
weapon.
Yeah.
I mean, apparently it's a weapon befitting my new status, so I'm a little worried now, even more so, to fight, you know, things.
Does it feel like it's not just all looks, correct?
No, it wouldn't. First off, I would never expect. And he kind of leans in, the god of forges and smithing and that kind of stuff, to just make an aesthetic alteration. And second, yes, it does feel different. I can't tell you exactly what it would do differently, but I can. Here. And he kind of just pulls it out of the dimension and hands it over. Don't hurt yourself.
Okay. He touches it, immediately disintegrates.
Well, what does happen is that as you immediately touch it, you feel sick to your stomach.
He's good. Zeus is if he can react before any like vomit or anything comes up, he's going to immediately pass it back. Nope. You want to know what? Feels good. Seems very solid. Very.
He shrugs and just drops it, and it falls through the ground into his pocket dimension.
I think no one else will be taking it, which is very good.
Probably a good recommendation.
Zeus is also going to, just while they're talking, seeing that the fire is being was tended to earlier, is going to just kind of watch over the fire and help tend to it, so other people don't have to get wet.
I'm eager to see what Rifter's scale turned out to be. He's still asleep. He was having a rather interesting dream. I really suggest you do not wake him up. At least and he kind of puts his hands together just for me, because I really want him to see how this ends.
Fair. I'm excited to hear the description of this.
I will, all in good time.
Fair. I was curious. I mean, as a god, at some point you will have some form of disciples or warriors of some kind. Have you put any thought into the criteria you would look for?
I mean, I'm not entirely sure. At its core, right now, as I am, I've already described how I don't want worshippers, but I'm open to followers. I'm open to people who believe in what change I've brought to my domain, to the space that I occupy, and those who understand that, above all else, the desire to fulfill not just your own dreams, but the dreams of those around you. I think that that's probably the core thing that I look for.
Sounds exciting.
Because hidden in the domain of sleep, within your rest, it's all based on your desires. I don't make your dreams, I can alter them, I can create a new plane, perhaps, but At its core, your memories, your desires, your wants, your needs are all what constitute the fundamental parts of your dreams.
So
There's a
someone
reason
in-
why. There's a reason why those two words mean different things, but are named the same thing: a dream and a dream.
I quite like that. It seems very noble people. Those who bring those up around them, much like our party, it seems.
Perhaps. Although, I'm not going to be hypocritical and say that they have to do that for everyone. After all, my personal stance was the desire to protect and serve and put each of you above me, but that doesn't mean that I do that for everyone. I don't think I'd hold anyone else to that standard either. At its core, it's those that choose to follow and understand what it is that I stand for that will gain whatever blessings that I have.
Nice. Well, just wanted to make sure you weren't going to say, those who seek power through dreams or something. You know, I had to keep an eye on you.
Yes. Another very important criteria. They have to dislike you and anyone else that you sire in the future. They have to hate your bloodline, but not Dyer's bloodline.
Fair enough. You want to know what? I have to give it to you. Anyone of my bloodline would definitely use that power for no good. I would make sure of it.
Sure. I see.
Well, I can see the world will be in hands when we're done.
They will certainly be in hands. What's your whole take on this situation, Lorik, this area?
With the storm or the city itself?
Storm, the city, everything. I haven't heard much, you haven't said much since we've come here.
It's tricky. Something feels wrong about this storm. It's been going on for so long now, and it's been happening both here and at Gerard Mardavir and likely near Tarnos Pem, and it feels wrong. It has me on edge, and I can't help but worry that it might be something yet to come. I don't know.
Well, we'll figure it out. We always do. Just hope we figure it out fast enough.
That's the catch.
At this
Rifter
point,
rolls over in his bed and starts to.
Oh, shoot, he naturally woke up before he got to it.
Oh, damn it. Rifter, you ruined our fun by waking up out of your own dream.
Rifter scratches the back of his head as he wakes up and he just goes, sorry to keep you waiting.
Not at all.
Glad you're awake.
I'm conflicted.
Well, whatever it is that y'all were doing, we got more important things to do, right?
Yes, we do.
Alright.
Oh, I checked on my weapon. You should probably check on yours.
Oh. And Rifter's going to check his side instinctively for the broadsword. Or the short sword, I guess.
Yeah. You pull it out, and for the first moment, it looks simply like a short sword. It perplexes you for a little bit, and eventually you have the bright idea of, well, it is a sword, perhaps I should swing it. And as you do, it shoots out this beam of just this black wave that travels in a straight line in front of you. That goes out and then cuts into the nearby rock, leaving this nasty black wound in its side.
Fitting for a weapon forged of nightmares.
Ah, ouch. Let's, be careful where we swing that around the encampment, though.
Rifter's eyes are big and bulging, and then as he slowly turns towards the sword, and he has a grin, and he sheaths it.
So he's just going to look over at the. Is the guy Banshee? The scout guy is on watch.
No.
Okay. Well, he's going to look at the person on watch either way,
Mm-hmm.
and is going to just see if they were watching all of that.
He was not, funny enough.
Not a very good watch.
Yeah.
Well, he's not
Well,
watching you. The chief
I know.
said you're good. That means you're good. It's not his
So
job
true.
to play skeptic.
I mean, Lork unsheathed temperance. With all of this happening and what we have ahead of us, feels almost as though this isn't going to be enough.
I mean, you have your resources to call on, right? I'm sure that if you got in touch, they could perhaps make those runes that you've inscribed so long ago something greater. I don't know, though.
Maybe.
I'm just spitballing.
Do you think you could maybe get me in direct contact with them tonight?
If there is a tonight, whenever the next time we sleep, sure.
Alright. Audacious as it sounds, it would be nice to be able to speak directly with them and understand a bit better.
From my limited experience so far, it's not that gods tend to believe themselves above. I'm sure they do at some point, but the ones that I have experienced, if they're truly good, it's not that they don't want to, it's just that they largely can't.
Right.
Or rather, they're busy. Not for lack of ability to speak to someone, but for lack of resources.
Right.
But I'm more than happy to take you.
Thank you. Let's get on the road, shall we?
I should probably let them know. Chief will
Right.
want to know we're heading off to our death, he says with air quotes.
I mean, since I'm, kind of liaison translator, I'll let him know.
Yes. It's important.
Oh, what can I say? Kind of brushes off his shoulders.
Rifter whispers to Zeus as he goes. He says, "Find an excuse to get me to try this thing."
But Rifter, I like some of these people too much, but I'll be on the lookout.
Rifter nods.
Zeus is going to go kind of, as
As
he
you-
noticed. Yeah.
As you peek into the tent, you see both of them sitting around the center, talking while they're eating a meal. He turns and welcomes you in, and the two of you exchange a few words as you talk about the situation.
Mm.
Etoranda Seronna. And go ahead and respond in DM, and then we'll play out the rest of it. So the rest of the party
Gotcha.
can kind of just talk to themselves for a moment.
You know, I kind of envy the life they have here a little bit. The total isolation from the greater politic of the world.
It is a simpler life. Certainly less complicated than ours.
For sure. And it's certainly less complicated than mine's going to end up being.
Oh, no doubt. You hit the lottery on that one.
I'm not saying it's bad, I am saying it's going to be complicated, though.
Yeah. I mean, I hear that's what most thieves do after they try to retire. Out in the secluded countryside, away from most local enforcement.
The old mad hermit Rifter. Fits you.
I'm
I can fit the bill.
not sure how complicated things are going to be on my end after all this. Certainly not simple, but just a matter of how complicated.
Whatever choice you end up making, whatever life you end up leading, I'm sure you'll do it well.
The two of you see as Zeus and the chief step out of that one and then walk into one of the nearby tents.
We should still be ready for whatever faces us in there. It's been sealed for a reason. If it was
Right.
something that most could handle, it wouldn't be. So, even if we have grown stronger, we should still not let our guard down. Although at the same time, if there's some grandma in there, we shouldn't smite them with the power of God.
Right.
Rifter shakes his hand feebly to imitate an old woman and goes, Rifter, dearie, you've been so not.
Here he is, anime karate chops lightly on top of Rifter's head. Ah.
And they'd welcome us as heroes.
Grunhoff, when we get to the ruins themselves, I'm going to cast that ward on you, just to be safe.
Yep, no problem.
I just don't want to waste any of its duration while we're taking care of business here and traveling. For all we know, every second might count.
Of course. I finished with the journal.
And what were you able to glean from it?
To be honest, not much, but there was some that we did not know of yet.
Alright. Anything
been-
particularly useful?
Besides what I've gone over, there's just been some speculation about what could have happened to the place to cause all these people going missing, not returning, and so on. Anything from dwarven wrath, gods, deals gone wrong. Knowing what I know about dwarves and elves, I'm leaning more towards dwarven sabotage, dwarven revenge, along those lines. But ultimately, we are going in here rather blind.
Right, just as almost everyone has.
Well, if we can't, and this is a big if we can't resolve it ourselves, we should at least make it our goal to learn something about it, to potentially pass down a way. And should we attempt it again, we'll go in with different information. So,
And if we can't, then Zeus may be able to get us out of there.
indeed.
Maybe. Depends on what sort of magics are guarding the place.
I mean, I find it almost certain that Zeus will be able to get us out of there, considering he was
Oh.
able to move out and in freely from Nidhogg's plane.
There's
True.
also a note in here about certain magics not functioning in the ruins, including teleportation magic.
Then again, Zeus's powers aren't necessarily derived from magics, so
It's just a
But it
concern
might-
you should keep in mind.
It might gain some power from it, so even if he is able to use that kind of plane shifting ability, it might be weakened severely.
right.
We'll have to see. We don't know if it uses the ley lines. We already don't have enough information about our own powers, let alone what it limits in there.
Right.
Do we have a fast rider in the party?
Rifter?
Yeah, I could probably go pretty fast.
It may prove worthwhile to take as many notes as we possibly can while in the ruins. Even the most minute detail might prove useful later.
Alright, I suppose that's probably a good idea. It's gotta be a whinge on the arm, though.
Well, worst case scenario, I can offer a bit of healing.
I don't think that's necessary. It's just gonna be annoying.
I don't know.
I mean, worst case scenario, I can claim your soul and bring it over to spend the rest of time with me.
Oh no, okay. Heal me, do whatever you can.
Ah, there you go. Just don't die. Simple as.
Truly inspiring advice.
I don't know if your arm's going to be such a bother. Maybe I should give that ward to you instead of Sternhoff.
Nah. I think, well, we may take the same amount of damage if we're hit. As opposed to your big burly ass. I think I'm a bit faster than he.
I mean, we have multiple of them. I can give you mine.
Ah, you learned the spell too?
I've basically only casted magic that you have, Lork.
Fair enough.
I've never really tried to do anything else. Most of what I cast is just me observing you. I'm not very intuitively adept with divine magic. At least not that of a paladin. I suppose eventually I am going to be quite adept with divine magic.
Well, I'd hoped that once we have time, I might be able to help you understand more of the full breadth of this sort of magic. But
That'll
by the
take
time
quite a long time, and I don't
by the
know
time
if
we're
I-
done with all this, it might not even be relevant anymore.
I wonder how Zeus is doing.
I was about to interrupt. Zeus steps out with two women in tow, each of which
my.
follows to the either side of the campfire. One of them, the one on the left, Cowheath, has a flute in her hands, which she holds to her mouth. And Nantes on the other begins serenading the group with a short series of sentences which rhyme and give a general gentleness that bleeds into the wind as they do.
We are being blessed, so look honored. I can translate.
In Draconic, Darius is going to say, "Wow, you already pulled two," and while still looking like slightly bowed, like a little bit, not moving his mouth too much, just out of the corner of his mouth.
Because Rifter does not speak Draconic, he just elbows Zeus and quickly shuffles his eyebrows up, like
Wait, Zeus speaks Draconic too?
Zeus does also speak Draconic.
Damn.
I
Do you
am
learn
the only non-Draconic speaker.
Hell, technically Stork does speak Draconic as well.
because he understands
Yeah.
languages that Sternhoff understands?
Exactly.
So, I'll just type it in chat, but
And
Zeus,
fine.
in all of this, is just going to remain his composure.
They finish their last bits of the song, and she takes the flute and tosses it into the fire. And as she does, this bear begins to burst out of the fire, which then goes into the sky and then splits into six parts and dives into each of you.
Fancy.
many things.
Thank you.
In a mechanical sense, each of the five of you, plus also Stork, whenever Schoonhoff chooses to, can say, "Hey, does that do something here?" And it probably will. depending on what the circumstances.
Yeah.
But only for a good little while. So use it or lose it.
I'm going to use it as a summoning jutsu. I'm going to summon Bear.
Summon bear.
Yeah.
Beto no jutsu.
Are we well and prepared to begin?
I think
Think
so.
we're
Give me just a
prepared
moment
to
to
set up?
finish packing.
Taurith bows her head and moves forward to Zeus and gives him a small gesture and puts her hand on his shoulder, says a word into his ears, and then returns. Dantes speaks out. Please return safe.
We will do. We will. I have faith in our party. And faith that now we have been honored by your blessing.
Thank you for the blessing. We will
Darius
do our
just-
best to have earned it.
Darius just deepens his bow and then raises back up.
Your days ahead are long. You should use your time well. Be strong before you are weaker. And the two of them return to the tent.
I can't believe the two of you saying such things right before we are blessed so graciously.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So do they worship a bear god?
Well, the translation, it does make reference to a bear. Lot of beware. I can translate line by line, if you want the understanding of it completely. But
I can tell you right now, direct translations like that almost never capture the actual meaning.
I mean, maybe to other people, but anyways, a lot of kind of be wary. Be wary of suspicious things. This makes it sound a lot less cool and as honorific as it is. Beware of kind of dark places and non-beaten paths. Wow, that I don't know why that was so hard for me to say. And treason beyond compel was the last line to beware of.
My good fellow, my companion, my compatriot. We are thieves. The shadows are our friends. Please explain to me why we should avoid them.
Oh yes. I think most of the time these things are talking about us, aren't they?
Oh my goodness. Walk and talk, you two, as Darius starts moving
Right.
forward.
Lork follows immediately.
Just
Are we
following.
the baddies?
Are we the baddies?
I've asked myself that question many times.
I am not
because I
in
know
danger. I
I
am
am
the danger.
I'm the one who knocks.
The trick is to overcome that through your actions, and then eventually, hopefully, you won't have to ask yourself that.
Either way, caution at. I can't believe I'm saying this. Caution above all else as we proceed.
You almost sounded like me for a moment.
Ugh. Yeah, I've been holding this in for the past, few months. I think this was a mistake. I think I have to leave.
You're in too deep.
I'm trying to
Besides-
keep. Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, besides, there's a little something under duress that I don't exactly expect you to walk away from.
Oh, fair enough. Although you'd be surprised how easy it is to walk away from things sometimes.
Honestly, if you could walk away from that, I would think you a rather heartless bastard.
Fear is quite the motivator sometimes. But we
Trust
are
me, I know.
stronger beyond compare, so bring it on.
Right.
The party makes their way through the dense forestry and is beginning to approach the small clearing at which this outcropping of the ancient city stands. Upon this gentle overcast sky where only a little bit of light burns through, the pillars spiraling into the sky and giving off a gentle blue reflection stand out surprisingly more than you would expect of something to have been sealed. And once again, you find yourself at its locale.
Are we fully prepared this time?
I know I am. Are each of you? Oh, you know what? He's gonna slap Rifter on the back a couple times. Need to make sure you're all safe and protected as he casts Death Ward.
Right. Lork does the same for Struenhoff.
Thank you.
Thank you, mate.
Would that work? Because you're connected to like death now, right? Would that be like kind of a negative thing for you?
No, I think it's more I'm doing business for the big man, but if something happens to me, I think he does his due diligence the same as always.
Gotcha. Contract work.
Yes, I believe it is akin to working at a stable, and you want to buy a horse, you still have to pay.
That's fair. Just with a slight discount.
Yes. Hopefully. I mean, you know, I don't know what happens to me after I go, but I hope he's kind.
Maybe. Just make sure you bring your coins for Charon.
I'm sure I can sweet talk my way out of the deal. But with that, Gustin, Rifter unsheathes hope, and he's ready to go in.
Which one of the two is that one? Is that the one
Hope
Beth gave you?
Hope is the God Blade. He is not going to use change if he can help it. He is
Okay.
going to have his dagger of returning in his other hand.
Gotcha.
Richter's all like, whoops, there I go killing again.
Kind of funny that Hope is a blade of literal nightmares.
Hey man, you gotta be in the nightmare if you need hope.
I mean, unironically though.
Hope is brightest in despair. It's true.
True. Alright. So how do we descend from here? Since presumably we have to descend.
I mean, I would assume as he sort of walks over, looks through, and kind of squeezes up into it, kind of looks down the hallway.
Can I perceive anything, like, at the end of the hall, any meaningful differences between any of them? Like when I look down one, can I see anything different from when I look down another?
Each of them has a few different words inscribed on it, but and as you go through, you're able to find out that each of them does end up having a little bit of a difference. In the center is like this central room, there's still heart inscribed, and on the other, each of the other four, going from top right clockwise, is strength, conviction, cunning, and dedication.
Strength, conviction.
Oh my.
Hey, Struenhoff.
Yes.
One of the thing, it reminds you a little bit of the fourth bullet point that you have.
I was going to get to that.
Okay.
Is there's no fifth ward in the sequence? Yes.
Doesn't look to be that way.
That lines up with one of the notes in the journal here. It's not much, but it says that he observed that the structure seems to need 4 people at minimum.
Oh, well,
Strangely
lucky
enough,
us.
this reminds me of another place that we've been a long, long time ago.
Oh, you mean the
The temple.
temple, yeah, where we paired off, did different things.
Did
I
there
was-
any similarities to this?
No, it was a UNT temple, so it was decidedly different in structure and intent, but still reminiscent.
I see.
But
I
how
was
should we
thinking the
split
same.
off?
You go down to strength. As Rifter taps the Lord.
Once again, this sounds rather familiar.
This one's cunning over here, Rifter. I think that one might be you.
Yes, indeed.
Or steps off to the side. We've got conviction and what was the last one? Sure, Bob?
Dedication.
Dedication.
Yes.
Well, I mean, I think if there's anyone dedicated, it's you, Sternhoff. That leaves me and Zeus for conviction. What do you think?
You can join any one of us, Zeus. I think you would be more than capable in any of them.
It's true. Darius, you still do look so weak. It might be good to follow you down.
Oh, right. You go in. I'll follow up behind you.
All right. Which one is the
Bottom right.
top right?
Strength is the top right. Lork.
Which
Oh, strength is
means
top
that
right. My bad.
Dedication
Zeus is
top
gonna-
left.
That's correct.
Zeus is going to try and shapeshift himself to be like Flat Stanley version of himself to easily get through.
Zeus becomes Mr. Game & Watch.
Yeah.
Hey!
You make it to the end and everything seems totally fine, and nothing happens when you get to the end, Zeus.
It seems this might not be for me.
A few seconds go by, and suddenly there's a great roaring as other people have gotten to the spot. And Zeus, you feel a great nausea induced on yourself.
Oh no!
It's
Does it
the
feel like?
second time today?
Yeah, I was going to say, does it feel like a similar nausea?
A little bit, yeah. This
Gotcha.
time it's much less physical. The other one was very physical. This one feels mental. It's like a headache that's grown to encompass your entire body.
Oh no! He's going to try and edge backward down the hallway. Oh, Darius,
You
That
sure?
was-
Oh.
awful. I was very sick. It made me very sick. This is not. You try it. You try it. See if you're vibing well.
I mean, I was trying to follow behind you to make sure that you didn't end up getting left behind, but
Well, I mean, I'll run down maybe somebody else's very quickly. Just go to look around. Go ahead, try cunning.
Rifter has headed all the way down to the end. Actually, if the what I see is accurate, he's gonna wave at Lork like, "Hi."
Lork returns
It
it
is.
with a nod.
As Darius gets to the end, it whirs up once again, and Zeus, as well as Thork, both step away from the center as it starts to give way a little bit. And again, you start to feel exceptionally nauseous as this happens, but a staircase does open. Thork moves over to the side. There's just this horrible energy that's emanating that's giving you the heaves, Zeus.
Anybody else feel that? Anybody else at all feel?
you mean the big whirring?
No, like an internal whirring of the stomach.
Did you eat something bad?
I don't know. I thought all the food was prepared very well.
This would be a bad time for indigestion or food poisoning.
It's more. Yeah, possibly more than. Oh, hold on. Okay, hold on.
You're right.
This is I. This is. I don't know if this place doesn't like.
Your head
Yes.
begins to whir. It feels like you can see out of the back of your head, but you're blind. The sky above is much more like the sky below, and after a few moments of that horrendous feeling, it starts to pass, and you've reconstituted yourself.
Oh. Rifter, did you give me extra cocaine we had? What? Oh.
You still have that?
No, we would never. Shut up.
Sorry. I had to figure out.
No, you're fine.
Okay, I'm starting to come back to. I think we're good.
Are you
But-
all right to come down with us?
I mean, I'm not going to miss this. But, if something starts happening, I mean, I guess worst comes to worst, I can start teleporting myself away somewhere safe, so you don't have to worry about me.
All right.
DM Rifter is going to check around on the off chance that there is some sort of tangible reason for why he's feeling oogie.
Okay, go ahead and roll me an investigation.
Just a
Okay.
big ass leech sucking all of his blood out.
It's just
Alright,
a xenomorph.
that is a
We
good
didn't
point.
notice.
Are you investigating him or are you investigating the area?
The area.
Okay.
Zeus will investigate himself.
Go ahead and give me a
Yeah.
nature then, Zeus.
Awesome.
Not a good roll.
So
Oof,
true.
not a good
No,
roll.
it's not a good roll.
You feel like there's a worm inside your head.
Oh god, he's
Nice.
becoming a mind flayer.
Oh no, there's a skeleton inside him.
You're just like,
Skeleton.
no, Mama read horror stories about this to me. They said that people got nauseous before they came and abducted the kids if they didn't misbehave. Is that what's happening?
I heard that if you flirt with a woman, sometimes this happens. Our mother would always warn us of this.
So, Mr. DM man, do I find anything on my big extravaganza?
Not really.
Damn.
Oof.
It's I don't know, maybe the fucking like runes as they move around is they're blue, he's blue. But then Lorik's not getting a headache, so maybe he's just not the right kind of blue. Maybe
it's
he's
just,
more
just
used
getting
to
skill
it.
issued.
Is there
Skillish fluid even.
Yes, Rifter.
I've looked around. I cannot seem to find any cause of your ailment. I would just keep close to the big man.
Fair.
If
You don't
you-
see any. He's going to put his ear up. You don't see any like worms in here, do you? Like something burrowed through my skull, right?
Zeus,
Yes.
shut up.
Oh, okay.
If it will give you any solace and help you in the moment, here. Lorik kind of raises his hand as it's covered in this sort of white gold, almost flame-like light, as he lays his hand on Zeus, cleansing disease and all that. If it is something physical, that should have taken care of it.
If you would, Rifter, start taking down notes of how we've opened this and the onset of nausea in certain people.
Yeah, I already got the strength, conviction, cunning, dedication, all that written down, but yeah, the way we open it probably matters too.
Make sure you put people in quotation marks.
Spare no expense, because if we come out of this, there will be money to be had in this research.
Oh,
Does
okay,
he
money.
feel any better?
What was that Thoric said?
I was asking Zeus if he felt any better after lay on hands.
Do I feel any extra better or just normal?
It's up to
returning
you.
Self? Oh. Zeus is going to say, yes, I'm feeling much better. Thank you.
Let's go, placebo
good
in
to hear.
action, baby.
Let's go. All right, shall we head down? Do we want an invisible fella in the front?
So
Probably.
Rifter, myself, Struenhof, Darius, Zeus, then?
Sounds like a plan.
Struenhof in the middle, so that if something
Yes.
comes up behind us, he isn't directly in danger.
Indeed.
Before
and
we go down, I am going to activate this.
Okay.
Oh, true.
Zeus is also going to
Once you
be
do,
like,
you see as there's a bunch of tiny little strands that connect from each of the corners of this room down through that central spiral that then slide all the way down, forming this braid of energy that goes straight down.
Almost like a spider web.
That's like a spider web and more like a thread. Like from each of these corners, there's a single thin rope that just goes straight to that center spoke of the spiral staircase and then twirls along down it.
How
Okay.
does it appear? Does it appear completely visible, or does it appear like kind of like foggy or?
It's ghostly and translucent.
Okay.
So it's from the ethereal plane, then?
That explains that. Rifter, make a note that there are threads connecting each of these corners down into the staircase and below.
Will do.
Likely
Descend them.
originating from the ethereal planes.
Heading from the ethereal plane.
Thank you. Alright. Let's begin our descent.
Zeus is also going to put up psychic whispers for 6 hours.
Yippee!
Yo.
Nobody needs to talk. Let's go.
Discord call. Discord call.
As the party starts to make their way down, as the party descends down the staircase in the order they have described, the first most evident thing is that it is in fact dark. It gets very
Wow.
quickly to a point where the party is not able to see anything.
Is it magical, can I tell?
Until you attempt to do something, you can't tell either way.
Does anyone have any junk that they're holding? Maybe
Here, just enchant my shield.
Rings.
I touch it and
That's 20 and 20, right? Yeah, okay. So one for the Lorik. Who else is getting these fancy lights?
I've got a couple rings you could put on one of them.
that'll work. And I enchant 2 of his rings. The Zeus Rifter.
Zeus is going to pull out a. Would it be good to light up these? He's going to bring out a bag of ball bearings. Like, maybe toss them down to light up the way.
That's a surprisingly
Yes.
smart idea.
Those will work.
Interesting.
It was a maneuver that Struenhof and Zeus did, and Struenhof and Dyer did all the time.
It was. Brings back memories. What about you, Rifter? Do you have an item, or would you like a ball bearing?
I do got some of those, but I think my ring will do. And he holds up his wild magic ring.
It
Alright.
fails.
Oh, well, alright. That case,
It might be prudent for Rifter to not have any lights on him in case he has to start stalking around or anything of the sort.
yeah, sure, why not?
We should have plenty of light now anyways.
Right.
Let's continue.
You make your way down. It's starting to get a lot gloomier. Despite being very cold, it's not damp. It's very almost clinically clean. and the whispers of the wind above, after about 30 seconds of delving, have completely disappeared, and you find yourself in what is practically a boring, gentle, gray stone room. There's a little bit of evidence of previous life, as there's a rudimentary campfire set up down here. The ceiling is rather high.
Is there any belongings around the campfire?
Not here.
Fresh does it look?
It looks a hell of a lot more fresh than anything of the stonework. It feels like it's probably like a few years, maybe decades old. Not, you know, the wood is not calcified.
Right. I guess the better question to ask would be, is it still hot?
No, definitely not.
Okay. So
It is sterile, however.
I'm going to check the actual campfire itself to see if it was just used for light/warmth, or if I can find any remains of like food or something to like see if they were using it to cook stuff.
Go ahead and give me an investigation.
Thank you.
As you go digging through some of the coals and upsetting the site, you eventually find a small little spigot of a piece of metal, a little bit of like abandoned silverware.
Okay, well, they were significantly more civilized than I would expect for adventurers.
I carry silverware with me.
I stand by my statement.
Yeah.
After chucks the fork back into the campfire, or whatever silverware it happened to be.
Oh, just a piece of metal, I think. Oh, hold on.
Rifter's just
there- Yep.
I was gonna say Rifter's just observing the room, writing down notes, being perhaps maybe too detailed.
Too detailed is okay.
Zeus is going to keep an ear out behind them just to see if he can pick up anything. Or just like generally listening for anything arriving towards anybody. And also kind of open his ears up to see if he can hear anything like he heard when he listened to the wind on the surface.
Gotcha. I will keep you primed.
Thank you.
In front of you, the corridor is slightly less surgically clean. There's starting to be a bit of damp that emanates up from further down the hall. There's a gentle breeze as it blows through and up into the as it now has a path for the air to blow out into the upper world.
You said there was a dripping sound?
There's the wind. There's a gentle wind that blows from further forward and passes past you and up through that corridor.
Okay.
It is slightly wet, not actively wet, but as opposed to the
Moist.
rest of it, which was very dry air descending down.
Ah, Georgia moment. I see. All right.
Everybody be like, that thing only exists in my state. Only Georgia has wet air.
Yes, exactly.
True.
Lol.
Are we supposed to also side note slightly? Are we supposed to be able to see the map that we are on?
Yeah. Can you see now?
Okay.
Fucking
I'm just on a black
bitch.
screen.
Fucking bitch. What? I gave you the... Okay, let's turn it off and back on again. Vision off. Vision
Turned out the
on.
lights.
It's canonical.
Who
He's
turned out the lights?
he's super oogie.
Yo, I really do. I really do be.
Oh, I
friendship.
know what the problem is. The problem is that everybody's light is self-light only.
That
Wait, no,
doesn't
that's not.
sound. Yeah, because I have light from other sources.
I think so, anyways.
I'm light on my feet.
I'm going to kill you.
Love
and
you.
then kill you again.
Love you.
Why? You're
Yeah.
you're light on your feet? Why
I
don't you let me
technically
sweep,
could
sweep you off them?
give the light cantrip to his shoes.
Yo,
Let's go.
Skechers?
That'd be very not stealthy for a rogue.
But it'd be
Oh.
kind of funny.
I'll take my shoes off when I need to speak.
Someone will see him in the shadows and be like, is that a leprechaun?
They're after me, Lucky Charms.
Throw back to that one time I made that incorrect quote where the characters are in a dark pit and Rifter stomps his light up Skechers.
What the fuck?
Is this thing just is not working?
Oh,
Oh,
there we go.
Oh,
Got it.
I was gonna say try deleting it from the map and putting it back on.
I did that already.
Damn.
So what happened was one of the options is limit field of view, and apparently I turned it off and on because when I turned it off and on again, it unlimited his field of view from 0 degrees.
You know what? Fuck you. Limits your field of view.
To 0
Alright.
degrees.
Let's explore some more. I'm gonna go down this way. I see something there. I would like to glean what that is.
It is
Rifter, be careful.
Is some broken pottery. Stork follows up behind and emits a little bit of a and growls a bit.
What is it, Slork?
Do you sense something here?
You sense that he does.
Is he able to put it into words telepathically for me?
Most of the time, it's more of a feeling, and the feeling that he's giving you is that there's other things somewhere here.
I see.
He's only just beginning to smell / feel it.
Okay. I'm going to examine the pottery to see if I can find any details, you know, like art or whatever.
It's still again, similar to the campfire, relatively modern. It has some of the same techniques that like a lot of the pottery that you guys would use in your daily lives, right? It was probably brought down here from the surface.
Most likely brought down here from the surface. Okay. Or if there's just being an inspector, you know, making sure they
The same is true with the chair.
Okay.
We would do well to keep close to each other as much as possible. Or at the very least in small groups. Not far from the others.
You're probably right, yeah, but I'm just trying to get everything as detailed as I can. Also, DM, what is this?
That is a thin wall that has had part of it crumbled away.
Okay, that tracks. I'm like, damn, somebody's a dirty boy up in here.
Alright, are we ready to keep investigating?
Aye. Wait, let me check over here. Oh, well. Never mind. Didn't find anything.
There's some more stuff over here, Rifter.
Okay. A
Similar
broken...
story. You probably saw like one of the Grandma Volstroms or something have a model like it.
What
This
is this a? What is this?
It's an old bed cot.
Oh, it's a bed cot. Okay.
Got a
this
big old
feels like it
xylophone.
was a staging ground for some people's expeditions.
Preparing to travel further in. Well, at least we know that they had enough time and felt comfortable enough setting up here.
Right.
Sorry, this is just springing to my mind now. Should we need to all escape at once? Is there a specific location you want me to take us back to?
Gerard
If-
Martevere.
Alright.
Feel if the need arises, any location will do, but
Fair enough.
I mean, not having to scramble for an answer is better than
yes.
anything, so I'll go with that.
Right. We should also hand out the sending stones. We only have. Actually, JC, would there have just been 2 sending stones, or is it possible to have a network of like 5 linked ones?
I'd say normally you wouldn't, but they probably invested some pretty decently high tier magic into it, so they could have linked ones.
Okay. Right. So,
Because, you know,
here.
casting sending at like 7th level and shit.
Yeah. Before we go any deeper, Lork pulls the sending stones out of his pack and passes one to each person. These are all linked to each other as a 5-way connection. If Zeus's connection fails, and if we get separated somehow, use these, and hopefully they end up being useful.
Will do.
Sounds good.
JC, I don't remember all the scrolls that I got in Gerard Martevere, but I know that I sent the full list to you.
I recommend you find that list. Anyway.
Mhm.
The party may continue while he does that.
Found it. I am pinning it.
I guess nothing more to do here then. Continue.
I have also pinned the second set of things.
Many of the walls here have been gently eroded to have a very smooth face.
Also, JC, have
Yes.
I been able to keep track of where the threads are going,
Yes.
or have they ended?
They all
Okay.
coil straight through the center here and up into the top right of the next room.
All right.
Is it
Keep that
weird
in
that
mind.
there's all this erosion here when there wouldn't be like wind or something, right?
Magics can have strange effects, and this place.
It's very flat for an erosion, very smooth. It's not haphazard. It's almost every single face of the stone here is smooth. Not perfectly smooth, but like grindstone smooth.
Gotcha.
Rifter puts a hand on the wall, and after like feeling how smooth it is with a finger, he goes, "No, I think this is definitely man-made, or whatever made it. It's intentional, intelligent design."
Ah,
This place was made by elves, right?
Yes,
Oh, there you have it.
that for sure I can say.
Given how long they have to live, it seems reasonable that they would have perfected everything here. Which also means if there are any defenses here, those are also likely perfected.
Speaking of that, Rifter, make a note that the threads continue and flow into the next room.
Already ahead of you there.
Zeus, do you mind giving me a Constitution saving throw?
Uh-oh.
Of course. Of course I would mind.
He would mind.
I'll do it. I'm going to use a...
I can only use
Can I
that on
use-
ability checks.
Got you. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah,
All right, we're
you're
good.
starting to feel a little sick again. It's another wave that strikes upon you. And after a few deep breaths, you've managed to cope with it again. You look ahead as the party has moved on past you.
Zeus is going to try and conceal this, straight face it as much as possible.
How much Rifter was next to Zeus? So how much of that would I be able to aim?
I'd say the two of you can do like a deception insight thing.
Okay, in that case, as Rifter looks back, I'm assuming he just hears like the intensity of breathing from Zeus as he turns around and he says, "You all right?"
Yes, sorry, just a little bit thinner air in here, I think. Nervousness, etc.
Yeah, thinner air. Rifter does not look convinced.
Are you two all right back there?
Yes, we are fine. We can keep going.
Yes, we are good, Mum.
Hmm.
Rifter waves Zeus to come join the rest of the party.
He's
After
going
you, Rifter.
keeping an eye and an ear back just to make sure nothing spooky coming up behind him. Follow.
You make your way down another series of spiral staircase, and as you step out from this one, it suddenly makes sense as to why all of the ones up here were smooth. It probably wasn't built that way. It was probably made that way for whoever stopped there to stage the expedition. As this one, you're able to see as all of the faces of every wall is simply coated in hundreds, perhaps even thousands of different brutal ways to die.
Oh, okay.
Not very enjoyable as a spot for a campsite.
Like, as in there's murals on there, or?
Yes. Small murals or decals or hieroglyphs, carvings and paintings of different drawings intended to disgust.
Yes.
Certainly an optimistic bunch here.
I mean, the reason this place is abandoned. I think we're just getting further in and understanding it a little bit more the more we go.
Were these guys cultists? Did they worship death? What's the deal here?
This is... It seems almost too glorified for death. It seems more akin to that Lord of Murder I mentioned to you a while back.
I would agree, which is why I'm wondering what the distinction is here. I guess death is just passing on, and murder is, well, murder.
It is also possible that the temple is now more recently occupied, as opposed to having this always have been here.
Ugh. I'll relish that thought.
Regardless, continue.
Rifter's just checking on both sides just to see if he can find any difference in the murals or the art. Any distinction.
Every single individual mural is completely unique. No single method is replicated even once.
Oh, damn. Okay, somebody was busy.
Thoric gives another growl.
Could be a nice source book for you, Rifter, he says a little bit nervously,
Uh,
trying to lighten the mood.
some of these I don't know if I have the power to do as he looks over, and I'm going to assume one is of multiple people doing the act.
Yeah?
I mean, I think you should just try harder.
Oh, yes, I'll be sure to multiply.
I don't think he has the tools for this one either. Nor
As
points to
Rifter
a particularly
takes
grisly one.
As Rifter takes those steps forward, a small bit of the ruins in front on one of the only spots that's not filled with murals begin to shift and once again say, "Stay back, this is not for your kind." Another warning in a very identical style to the one up above.
We don't have the luxury to stay back.
We should see if it reacts to others of us that are not Kenku.
I have an idea, and he taps his Zeus, and he says, maybe you should try turning into an elf. They seem to be racist.
Fair.
If-
Good point. This is going to make himself look like a elven version of his current form, essentially. And then walk on up, see if it responds in a similar way.
It does respond in the identical way. Simply repeating the warning above of, like, you know, if you're gonna be here, at least do what we could not, right? There's no treasure, there's no great rescue, right? Don't come here unless you're here to purge.
This is not a place of honor. Nothing of value is buried here.
This is like multi-layered racist. You can see right through me, this thing.
I mean,
Right down to the bloodline.
who knows?
Or it would give the same warning to elves.
Our kind being, I guess, mortals, maybe?
Who knows?
Or anyone not of this strange faith.
Ah. You know, why can't we ever go to one of those, like, pleasure temples where they have, you know, fun drinking murals on the wall?
Too expensive.
Damn it.
Hey, JC,
Hey there.
can I try and determine the age of the message based on like how powerful the magic in it is?
You know what? Sure, go ahead and give me an Arcana. Alright. So, after taking about 5 or 10 minutes, which the rest of the party doesn't necessarily appreciate, as they kind of just end up looking around at more different grisly ways of murder and pain and torture and all that, you're able to sense that a lot of that magic here is tied together with the same magic on the surface. It's part of the sealing of it. This entire place seems to be less the city itself and more part of the act of having the city be sealed.
Okay. And looking around, where are the threads going?
Similar story to one floor up, straight through the center to the other side.
And down the next set of staircases?
That's right.
So this is less describing the activities of a cult and more trying to warn us of what awaits us down there, I suppose.
It could be. I guess we'll end up finding out.
Oh, that's disgusting. Oh.
Anything
Look
of
at the floor.
anything of interest over there, you two? Other than, you know, the obvious.
Murder.
Oh, I saw someone of. They got stabbed in the junk. Oh, that was not pleasant.
That's a lot more common than. Is that really something that sets you off?
Look,
Hey.
I know it happens all the time, but it doesn't change the fact that's not something I relish.
We might be rogues, but we're men of honor, please. We have
Yeah.
standards.
No below the belt.
Well, maybe the toes or leg or something, but, you know,
Check
right
this
below
other
the
side
belt.
room.
More of the same.
Alright.
Speedrun.
This room looks different.
Part of it has been shifted and crumbled off a little bit to the side.
Be careful on our approach, everyone. Zeus,
Right.
keep up, please.
I am. I'm just keeping an ear out, making sure there's nothing behind Slork.
Him being the rear guard is important.
Yes, yes. I just want to make sure he's doing all right.
Right.
No, fair enough.
I know.
Rifter's going to investigate the crumbling area. He's gonna see if he can figure out what might have caused it. Like what type of if it was intentionally damaged or if it was slow decay.
Sure. Give me an investigation.
Awesome. We're playing Columbo Rifter today.
I guess we are.
Oh,
Is
and
it going
one
to be
more
another
thing.
17? It is. Would you look at
Yeah. I'm a 17
that? He's a
roller
17er of
apparently.
the storm. If it was done by someone intentionally doing it, they did a very good job at making sure it was subtle. You can't be super determined either way, but it's not like somebody just took a sledgehammer to it.
Okay. So if it was done intentionally, it was done with finesse. Okay. Well, that's all I needed to know. All right. Yeah. Looks like it appears that this was destroyed through the actual decay rather than intentional.
Strange that only that one segment suffered that fate.
Precisely my thoughts. That's why I thought it might have been intentional, but from what I'm looking at, the strike's just too perfect to tell.
Let's head further down. Rifter, you take the van.
Just give me one moment. Right, the final. Just prepping the fourth floor entry as he's like in his journal, flipping through, looking for a piece of paper that's or bits of paper that are unoccupied. All right, got it. Let's just head down.
This time, the air is exceptionally damp as you make your way down. There is no longer any fancy warnings on the wall any longer. Instead, simply an even darker stone awaits the flooring and simple carvings the entire way along, each of them being very specifically inlaid with very active runes. The room, once again, while the pathways remain the same size, each individual room has gotten bigger. There's a small cave-in on one side here.
Oh, which side?
The one where you cannot proceed through.
The side with the cave-in.
I'm sorry, I misunderstood. But you said cave in, I thought you meant like a little pocket, not a fucking crash. Okay.
Zeus will play Watson to his Rifter Sherlock and investigate just this cave-in to see if he can tell any cause or anything like that.
Okay, do it. Give me...
Investigation?
Yeah. Also, give me a con while you're at it. Con save.
Will do. Hey, good roll.
It seems to have eroded from some force. Your best guess would be from, like, water damage, but that seems exceptionally likely, but that's what a lot of the signs would indicate.
Seems to be water damage, which, I mean, the air around us is certainly getting a little bit heavy.
On that note, let me pass out some of the scrolls that we gathered. Lork passes out, identifies to himself Darius and Sternhoff. Feather falls to everyone but Sternhoff, since Sternhoff can naturally fly. A mold earth to everyone. And a shape water to Darius, Rifter, and Zeus.
Damn, okay. My man packing.
Yep. Okay, so let me just type it out.
That would be helpful, thank you.
Yeah, thanks. I'm like, oh, what did you just give me?
Does
Let me just recall.
Zeus, when he makes the Constitution save, have any indication that, like, he made a save against something?
Yes, he does.
Okay.
You feel like you have bared once again against this nausea that is trying to overwhelm you.
In that moment, very quickly, can he try and see if it's linked to he's going to say like kind of his psychic abilities, knowing that it is a little bit less physical. Like try to parse it out very quickly. I don't know if he's able to, but
I don't know. Give me a religion,
okay.
or
Crazy.
Sorry.
Nice.
it has a part of the thrumming is in the same part of your head that happens at the same time you use your psychic abilities particularly intensely after a day. That could just be, an area of your head that gets sore from both of them, or it could be an actual correlation.
Okay. Cease at this point would be like, okay, nausea almost came back for a second. I'm getting a kind of feeling like it's possibly related to my psychics, or at least where I feel like that part of my brain is. When I activate that type of thing. Just thought you all should know.
Information. Keep an eye on that. A brain on whatever. Let
Will
us
do.
know. Keep us informed.
Didn't want to say I was feeling sick without more information.
Makes enough sense to me.
Sorry, I'm
Let-
finishing typing out the spells that I'm handing out.
Oh right, yeah, I forgot.
So,
For gore.
The scroll fairy.
Our gay scrolly godmother.
hmm.
The rest of the party can move forward.
These are all the scrolls that we have. Be careful about using them too quickly.
I'll be sure to use them as soon as I can.
Right, and Richter, I also intended to give you this. Lorik hands him, reluctantly, the fireball scroll that Richter had requested previously. I've just committed a horrible mistake.
It's fine.
Oh, I'll use it responsibly.
Hopefully. Let's get going then.
It was at this
Shunha.
moment he knew.
Thor calls out to you psionically, like he's not able to do words and all that, but he gives a very immediate, like, stop, like something's wrong signals, and then growls again.
Uh-oh.
He slithers past your feet and past the feet of the other members of the party.
What's up, buddy?
He's looking at each side of the room for a moment, and he's starting to get much bigger for a moment. He's puffing himself up, like he's breathing in a lot of air, and he starts rumbling the ground in front of him.
Sure enough, do you maybe have detect
Although
magic that
Go on.
if we can, I don't know, what detect magic might be able to tell us something about the nature of what we're seeing
The
here? Like,
previously clear air in front of you begins to get revealed as there's two big blobs in each of the hallways that quickly become visible and start retreating off to the side rooms and eventually in through cracks.
Oh my.
what in the hell were those?
We got company.
Whatever they were, Thoric knew well before we did.
Good job, buddy. As he pats him on the head.
I've heard of
He
some-
coos a little bit, but only barely. He's still doing like a little bit of territorial rumbling.
That would explain why this place is so clean and spotless.
I've heard of some ruins being inhabited by cube-like oozes. Those seemed much bigger than the tales told, though.
We'll have to be cautious. Be very careful every step we take. Keep our eyes out and our weapons in front of us.
Richter,
Yeah.
perhaps you should be behind me since you don't have light.
Rifter nods, and he tells Lord, "Be on your guard above us. I heard a tale of a got dissolved by one of these things. Jumped him up from the top."
I'll take point then.
The ceilings are high. Let's be careful.
Are they low enough that the torchlight still reaches?
Yes.
Or not torchlight, but light.
Yeah.
The dim light, probably about 30 feet or so.
Okay.
Back
So
in
as
formation.
Lord... Sorry.
There's just gonna say, let's get back in formation.
Alright. As Lord goes, he's kind of alternating between looking at the ceiling and looking directly ahead of him and using his sword almost like a blind man's cane.
I mean, hey, it checks out.
Be
Wait,
careful.
hold on. I want to try something. Move back for a second.
Alright.
Rifter's gonna try. But he wields his sword and he's an energy blast like forward out here to see if it lights up anything, like to see what its effect on the space in front of him actually is.
He goes straight through the space in front of you and leaves a nasty gash on the stone wall behind it.
Did it light? Oh, go ahead.
The runes that had been separated that are there start off being cracked and malformed, and they flicker a little bit, but then start to, over a few seconds, start to congeal almost like an actual wound might heal and pull itself together.
Oh, that's interesting. Does the blast itself like illuminate any light, or is it just like I don't know, like an object in the
It doesn't
dark?
emit light, but it does have a bit of a glow that makes it seen even when it's dark.
Okay, that tracks. All right. Okay, cool.
Like
That's what I wanted
imagine
to figure out.
those glow in the light stars that you might have had as a kid. Do you
I know
those?
exactly what you're talking
Yeah.
about. Yes.
How it kind of glows even though it doesn't light up stuff.
Yeah. Okay. No, I am on board with what happened. Rifter pulls back and he says, "Thanks for letting me try that out. I just want to see what that would do. Also, appears that this place puts itself back together real good." As he points to the bit of runes that are doing what you described.
I had to
Explains
guess.
why it's so intact after all these years.
If I had to guess, it seems like it's designed almost like a prison. And if those are what it's containing, it's probably just so that they don't slowly, over decades, eat away and escape.
Oof.
I would wager those are more wardens than prisoners.
Who knows? We'll see if that's what's being imprisoned, or if it's the imprisoner.
Certainly explains the lack of bodies so far.
Right.
Lack of anything, really.
Which way then?
At this point, we shouldn't consider splitting up. We should take one way, and then the next.
Right.
Aye, and so then which way?
I would say right.
I'm
Typically,
actually
there's
gonna turn to Slork and see what he thinks.
He's focused on grumbling and growling and making sure that he's looking around and trying to smell out if there's any others of them. He currently feels like there's not others, but he also doesn't feel like he's confident in that answer.
Okay. Which way is he confident in going then?
He's currently sticking a little bit to the right, but that's also the side that more people were already on.
Alright then. Right it is.
That old adage about sticking to the right in mazes might prove useful here.
Grandpa always did say right way is right.
This entire rune work slips through the entire outside of every single wall in an almost unceasing chain of runes, each of them tied to the one before it.
Are these runes in a language that any of us are familiar with?
They are not.
Part of me wants to use one of those scrolls of comprehend languages to see what exactly these runes do, but I feel like that might be a waste this early on.
Let's
What do you all say?
continue on. Let's continue on. The runes don't seem to be ceasing anytime soon. If it was one area, I would say sure, but we'll have plenty of time and
Right.
plenty of space to comprehend them.
Right.
Let's try and get to an area where we're either dealing with something directly or not worrying about the risk of something.
Zeus?
Yes. I was just catching a look, making sure there's nothing around the corner immediately.
You're the one in most danger here out of all of us. Don't separate.
I'm not. I'm staying within teleport range at all times.
Lord continues kind of prodding forward with the sword as he keeps careful watch on the surroundings. Where did that one thing go?
Something faintly in the distance to the north, but I cannot even come close to seeing what it is.
I can help try to see, at least attempt.
Ah,
Just to try and.
Toss a
think
ball
I've-
bearing.
Yeah, as you get a little bit closer, Lork, you're able to see as it has made its home in a small crack in the wall between. A crack has formed that sort of weaves its way between sets of runes, specifically avoiding them, or more likely having almost the crack having almost evolved to avoid the runes, because anytime it would touch the runes, that area would no longer be a crack.
I found one of the two oozes, the cleanup crew.
I had to guess. On the other side, I would say almost mirrored would be the other.
Very likely. This one... Is it showing any signs of moving, or is it just vibing?
It is pulsating slightly, but not really moving. It's not making significant motion. It's just it is
Undulating.
alive. Yeah.
It's definitely showing signs of life, but not making any moves beyond its home. I think it's likely safe for us to turn our back to them as long as Flork's here.
Fine. We'll head forward, or at least what we think is forward. Down, I
Right.
suppose.
Schönhoff, can you still see the threads?
Can I? DM?
For one more, yes, you can.
And where are they leading?
This time, the threads have the first time where it's slightly different. Instead of all four of them sticking together, at this point, two of them go on each side of the central path. Two of them go right, two of them go left, and then cross and weave themselves back together in the north section again.
It seems that the threads have finally split. Two going right and two going left. And it appears that they eventually reconjoin in the center.
Curious. Let's...
Alright. You said originally the threads were each coming from each pillar, right?
Yes, although by this point it may be impossible to tell which thread comes from which.
Alright. That was going to be my follow-up.
It would be something we would have to go back for.
And watch very carefully, I assume.
Yes.
Well, we'll continue in. If we end up needing that information, we can go back.
All right then, shall we?
That's what I was talking about.
I see something up there.
Oh, dearie me.
Is that? Something looks broken.
Many parts of the ceiling have collapsed. The runes themselves chug on as ever, but the area around them not so much.
Watch your step. Don't want anyone gouging themselves on a piece of masonry.
We've walked over less stable terrain before.
I know. Just don't want something as humble as that to be hindering us at this point.
Yeah, I'm playing detective again. I would like to check to see if there's anything of importance inside this rubble.
Sure.
Or above it.
The bubble.
The rubble.
Well,
I'm not a 17er.
for the most part, it's just, rocks fell, nobody died. The top right one, though, has, you're able to see parts of the staircase that continues onwards buried underneath it.
Oh, gents. Looks like we got a staircase over on this side.
On the right side, you said?
Yep.
If only there was a big, strong, burly man who could help us move the rubble out of the way.
Don't
Yes,
suppose
yes.
shovels.
Hmm?
I don't suppose we packed picks or shovels.
Actually, and Rifter pulls out a pick from his, I think it's the Explorer's pack.
Ah, very good.
You bring the weirdest things with you, Rifter.
I am a thief.
Fair enough.
Do thieves often go mining?
No, they go underground.
Mining underground?
If you're thinking of dwarves.
Rifter, can I borrow that?
Here you go, and he hands him the pick.
I'll have this put away in just a moment. The rest of you could keep watch.
The orc
Hey.
starts cracking some of the larger pieces to be able to get them to a point where he's able to start huffing them over. At current rates, it'll probably take about 10 minutes.
Let us know if there's anything we can do to help, bud.
Right.
I'm guessing that the threads go under the rubble and down the stairs.
More accurately, they go straight through the rubble, like not just in between
because
pieces of
they're-
it, but like straight through it.
Right, because they're ethereal.
Actually, there is one thing you could do to make it quicker. If you could grab some of the pieces that I cut down to size, that would save me time.
You see, I would, but jelly arms.
Stork looks at you. He's a little bit. He has a little bit of a frown on his face.
Yes, yes. Jelly is
Maybe
strong.
maybe you and Zeus could work together or something of the sort. Here, let me just. Lork kind of sidles over to the side to allow two people some room on that side.
Let's start moving things.
Alright.
Does that cut the time down at all, or?
It does. You end up finishing up after about 7 minutes.
Awesome.
Incredible.
Amazing.
Hey Zeus,
Yes.
do the thing.
That time again.
Say the line.
Alright. You continue onwards. For this area, it is finally a significant change of pace. Instead of simply black and gray stone all over the place, this area is tinged and filled with a deep blue. It feels almost like felt or grass.
This is strange.
Does it seem like the grass of like the flesh, almost?
I guess a little bit.
Like, not quite, not identical.
Not identical, no.
But more similar to it than like normal grass?
Yeah.
Can I tell what the material actually is?
Go ahead and give me a nature.
Oh, a nature. Okay, I don't get those too often. All right. Where the higgity heck? There we go.
So true, bestie.
You
I
go,
don't
you
know.
reach down, you rub it a little bit. It feels still like normal grass, so you take a little bit and you pluck it up and you look at it. Its roots, for the few seconds that you're able to look at it, look just like regular grass when you were to pluck it, and then it shrivels apart in your hand and dissolves into dust.
Well, whatever this is, it's definitely not normal.
Really?
Yeah, it just disintegrated in my hand.
Maybe we can use it as pocket sand. Let's keep going. Laura, do you want to make your way through over here?
Right, give me just a moment. Lord kind of sidles by the rest of the party as he gets down to this side.
He phases straight through the wall.
If I'm able to, JC, I'd like to try and get a sample by like placing the vial over the sample and kind of like very carefully trying to make sure it's not exposed to any like as much air as possible.
Okay. Give me a nature and an arcana. Or, sorry, a nature and a charisma, check. You're gonna try just an actual charisma check. You're gonna try to use your spell casting to flush the air out of the area as you do it. And you are able to successfully do so, and it creates a near vacuum environment as you evacuate the air from the
Alright.
ampule.
Am I able to obtain a few more samples for good measure?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say 3.
If you do 3, like 2 of them wither a little bit, but only barely. Like they start to wither, but then they don't turn to dust. One of them stays completely preserved.
Right, okay. Rifter, make a note that we have some intact samples of
Will
whatever
do.
this is.
Does the do you think the soil is soil or?
That's a good question. What is under all of this stuff, JC? Is it soil?
It looks like soil, and it feels like soil.
Does
Probably
it taste
is soil. I mean, do you want to taste it?
I'm not going to taste it
If
because I
anybody
don't
should
have...
taste it, it would be Darius.
Well, I don't have a measure for what soil tastes like
Yes,
because I'm not a
indeed.
soil eater.
The loathsome soil eater.
But, I suppose I could see if it's magical. Right?
Yeah. That one would be an arcana.
Oof.
Stupid!
Yikes.
Stupid. Something
It's
gives you
fine,
the
I-
heebie-jeebies as you start investigating it.
We could settle the matter once and for all by attempting to use a Moldered scroll, but I don't necessarily think that'd be terribly wise.
Nah, save it for an emergency.
Let's keep
Agreed.
moving.
Right, yes.
Importantly,
This-
it stays completely on the floor and never starts to climb up any of the nearby walls. The walls, unlike the upper, like this first floor, which were, abrased smooth, this area is unnaturally smooth. When you touch it, it feels like it is a single piece of existence, this wall. There is nothing that deviates from one edge to the other. It is perfectly straight, and it is perfectly smooth. It is a corridor made to exact specifications. And
You have to wonder why. Oh, sorry.
And the grass underneath it does not climb up a single bit.
I have to wonder why, if this place is built by elves, it's so far underground. That seems much more the domain of dwarves.
Can't say. I don't think anyone alive currently can say.
Lord peeks around the corner to see if he can see anything.
What you can see is another one of those pillars.
Does Slork notice anything?
Nope. He's pushing forward and he's keeping his nose and feet tendrils on the lookout. You do get the feeling that he's a little uncomfortable on this. It feels icky.
Yeah, that's fair.
Are slimes able to stick to walls?
To limited capacity. Some better than others.
Yeah, there's some that can even go up on ceilings, to my knowledge.
Generally, the bigger the slime is, the harder of a time it'll have doing that.
Right. Unless the ceiling is like oddly shaped in some way to where it could get a grip.
Yeah, if it's a fucking Velcro ceiling, yeah, it'll grab onto it.
Do we want to investigate any of these side rooms, or do we want to keep pressing ahead? Since the patterns stayed pretty constant thus far.
Might as well check everything, right?
Fair enough. I'm just worried about...
Let's just not take too much time on it.
Right, I'm worried about some of our spells running out of
You
duration.
start to hear a sound that echoes throughout the entire area. A tisk tisk.
What direction did it originate from, or is it just the entire area?
All around.
Does Slork react to that in any way?
About the same. He vibrates a little. It scares him a touch. It was unexpected.
If that's the sort of sound I think it is, I think we may be the latest amusement for something. Let's keep moving together.
Frustrated at us.
Knowing our track record, I'm willing to put money on amusement.
We are quite the charming.
Let's go with that.
Darius, you okay?
Yeah, he can't move the token because he headed downstairs.
Oh, yes. Sorry, I didn't read.
You got stun locked.
Yeah, he's keeping up with you.
To move.
He's a god. He'll live.
He is keeping with you.
Cool. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, since you typed it out, I haven't actually been moving you with it, but I'm just like, yeah, you're with them.
Is there anything noteworthy about the side rooms, or?
Nope, all of them perfectly smooth.
Any more murals?
Hey, Lorik.
Yes.
Would you mind making me an initiative roll? You alone.
Shit.
Oh no.
Funny joke.
Alright. As you take a step forward, suddenly there's this massive swirl immediately in front of you, and the previously perfectly smooth and so far only properly well-maintained ceiling begins to grow spikes almost like a jaw that shoot down like stalagmites and stalactites from both sides, and this strange entity begins to form in the middle of it. It has a body made of shades and a head that is the skull of a jackal. And it just looks at you with a twig that extends along its entire body. And it sits here with its legs crossed, staring out at the party. You're able to pull back and get yourself in a combat stance. And then, not much happens.
Can the rest of you see this?
Yes.
I believe so.
Regretfully.
What? Who are you?
It takes a deep, big breath. Looks back and forth from Lorik to Darius, and everyone in between.
Perhaps it doesn't understand common.
Zeus is gonna try and say,
You clearly haven't been dissuaded thus far, so I might only make sure that you understand. If you go past me, you cannot return.
like, ever?
He looks at Zeus.
What exactly is it that you guard?
It looks at Lorik.
Will we be trapped, or are you expecting us to be killed?
It looks at Rifter.
Alright, this is getting us nowhere.
Are you a being or merely like a type
Give
of...
it time to answer one at a time.
Oh, that's true.
If it will even do that for us.
That's fair, that's fair. We wait.
It takes a few seconds. And he looks at Shunov and he says, "Thank you."
Apologies.
And then looks at the other Thor.
Can I help you?
It takes a deep breath. Looks at Rifter. As in, you cannot return. Are not allowed to. Cannot. This was sealed for a reason. And it always will be. It makes no further comments until you make further statement.
Darius
On whose... Oh, sorry, Darius will go. I'll let Darius go.
would step forward a little bit, and should the reason for the stealing in the first place be removed,
No matter how long you wait, it doesn't give an answer.
whose authority is it sealed?
It instead asks each of you a question. What motivates you to throw your life away? Do you believe you are doing a service to the world? Perhaps for wealth, for knowledge? Or perhaps there's nothing else for you anywhere else? It looks across from each of you as it says it.
Come here, because it might hold answers for one that I consider close to me.
It takes its right hand and flicks its finger, which causes a small claw to come out, and it makes a small mark on its left arm. Carves into it. It bleeds a deep blue ichor for a brief moment.
Lorik speaks up, saying, I'm here to aid him, gesturing at Strudenhof, that when this is done, we may vanquish an ancient evil.
It does a similar but reversed gesture, scraping its right arm with its left finger.
Why do you mark yourself in such a way?
It is the only method that lasts the ages. And I see it as my duty to understand why, at the very least, those who disobey the warnings choose to throw their lives away.
How many have thus far?
It rolls up the shadow on its left sleeve, the one that was Darius talking about how he's doing it for knowledge, and his arm sort of mutatedly grows, and you're able to see somewhere in the order of 70 to 80 scratches on it.
My god.
And of the other arm?
After about a minute, it rolls back up. You know, the whole process taking a while either way. The other arm goes down. That one, a lot less, closer to 50, maybe 40.
I see.
Per Lorik's statement about trying to help someone or something. You may pass me any time that you wish. But please, turn back. Don't be like the rest.
Is there any kind of way to prevail?
It gives a bit of a wicked smile as the singular skull starts to crack in its mouth to give way for it. Oh, I hope so.
Okay,
And
gents,
it
this is
leans forward towards you. And its mouth opens wide, it holds on its breath. But it won't be you, and it won't be now.
What makes you believe that?
It leans back and its mouth fuses shut with its skull again. And it starts to be much, much more quiet, simply looking at each of you.
Whatever lies behind you, is it as difficult as slaying a god?
It looks at Darius, and time passes. No more words are said.
I have to ask, does the name Cassandra mean anything to you?
It looks at Lorik. No more words are said.
Good try, mate.
Alright.
Such an odd place. The non-stop warnings, the constant effort to get people to turn away, but just vague enough to pique the curiosity of the mind. Just on the edge of what makes people want to do something. That endless ache search of knowledge. Almost
I mean-
intentionally designed so.
I would also say, I mean, we know well enough that there are things we cannot say, but what danger will warn against.
Perhaps.
Regardless, the rest of us should answer their question. We've kept them waiting long enough.
Um, for saving as many people as possible. Zeus kind of speaks up towards the
It
being.
marks its right arm once again.
Do you,
Drifter.
there's a,
Oh, God.
do you think there's a difference between being on the right arm or the left arm?
Probably knowledge versus some sort of act of selflessness.
I wonder what they mark if someone says, well, since that was the motivation they brought up earlier.
Forehead?
Huh?
Rifter says the forehead, shrugging.
What's your answer, Rifter?
Rifter furrows his brow and stares into the creature's eyes as hard as he can, and he just says, because I made a promise.
Ooh,
It marks its right. It looks to Sternhoff.
I'm here to finish my master's work.
It marks its left.
Oh.
It looks at Stork, and after a few seconds marks its right.
Aw, Slork is a good boy.
Aw.
by the way, being up there, you wouldn't happen to know why someone might be feeling nauseous here, would you?
His head starts to be tilted slightly downwards, as if he's taking a nap.
Oh.
This guy.
Seems to be quite done speaking to us. Well, on the bright side for me, should this end up the worst, never mind.
Unless it's worse than that somehow.
I would be impressed.
Rifter whispers to Darius and he says, "Is this someone I break out the big guns for?"
They're clearly not trying to stop us. I mean, they are trying to stop us, but not like that.
Well, I kind of have the impression once we pass this thing, it's gonna do something.
Seemed, at very minimum, very willing to let us pass. Just wants to know why.
Suppose we'll find out.
If something does happen, then go for it.
Rifter nods.
Lork takes a step forward as though he's moving to pass through and sees if the being reacts.
It does not. You step over its twig that it holds in its lap, and you are on the other side. It is a room not unlike the other rooms.
Room like other room.
Before Darius steps over, he's just going to very lightly say, mostly to himself, but if you do dream, I hope to see you again. As he steps over.
The Orc Rifter and Darius look back and see Zeus and Strunhoff on the other side.
Hey.
Anyway, it was good knowing you.
See you later, suckers. My mission is complete.
Uh-oh.
Zeus will follow up in the back. And it's just kind of keeping an ear out behind them. Just to make sure.
Before stepping over, Trunhoff will ask, "Do you have a name, either now or from long ago?"
About a minute goes by without a response. He actually raises his hand and puts it gently on your shoulder. What a gentleman. And says nothing else on the matter.
That's a lovely name. As we step over,
At this point, some of the red flags are starting to go off for Darius, Rifter, and Lorik.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking back at Zeus. Lorik ends up going underneath the branch, and he chuckles a tiny bit.
So you said the red flags are going off for us? Oh, what's happening?
Zeus staying on the other side.
Zeus started to cross over, and then, hold on. Sloric passes under. This guy chuckles. I go, hold on. What? Why? Are we worried about that? He chuckled. Wait, I wasn't paying attention. How did everyone go over this branch?
I just walked over it.
It interrupts Lorik's words and looks Zeus straight in the eyes. You, of all, best be careful.
You know, you say that. You don't answer my question. You're very rude, you know. You seem like you're very caring. That's a rude-ass thing to do. But I will. Thank you for the warning. Whatever. And then I'll step over and walk over. This asshole.
Thank you for the warning.
He begins to melt into the ceiling once again, and there is now nothing in this area. Instead, it is simply a wall.
way out has been closed.
Well, if we do get trapped in here, there is one nice thing about this. Couldn't have picked better company.
Unless I'm some sort of bad omen or something.
At least you won't have any nightmares.
Zeus, I think it's less about being an omen and more
Being a warning.
no,
That is what an omen is.
this place seems
Get going.
connected with everything else so far. But
I hope
sure
you were
enough, that's
taking-
part of it.
I hope you were taking notes, Rifter.
He nods.
Refer to him as the gatekeeper until we learn such information that would say otherwise.
The opening down here is a hallway. Do we proceed?
Nowhere else to go.
As you each turn the corner, it's not blinding, but it's not what you expected. The rest of the area has been nothing but dark. Here, there's a bit of gentle light. You're able to step over, and while Lorik's original assumption was of a hallway, it's more of a doorway. And instead, the area in front of you is a great expanse of ancient stone and more of this gentle blue, just absolutely prevailing over every piece of ground around. There's a few spots that provide key illumination, is in the form of these small, at this distance, unreadable bits of glowing energy. And above everything is a sky that looks like the surface of an ocean. You take your first steps out, and he wishes you good luck.
Oh,
He's back?
fuck.
Oh my
More
goodness.
like more like his words. There are more of these Shumites. This time, however, they act a fair bit different. They have blue caps, and they're actually moving around less aimlessly and often moving together just in groups of two, just moving and foraging and eating a little bit of food. These ones are more natural, more actual creatures.
Hell world, hell world, hell world.
Actually, your sprites have red caps.
Mm-hmm.
Guys,
Well, I hope everyone brought their water skins.
I'm so sorry. I think I know why. This might have been my bad a little bit. Hold on. This is going to take out a little vial, and in it, you see a familiar liquid of the mushroom blood from the other place we were at. Guys, I just wanted to take a little bit, I thought it would be funny. I don't want this anymore. I don't know if this is causing problems for us. Somebody else
It's
wants
not.
to dispose of this.
Zeus, calm down.
If you pour it on the ground, we will have a problem.
Fair enough. I wasn't necessarily going to pour it out. I just thought. I don't know.
Don't let the gatekeeper's words phase you.
A group
Worst
of
case
two.
scenario.
A group of two of them moves forward and hops up on top of this small stone structure off on the side. They kind of look at you with beady eyes and thump the back of their heads with their rear feet, much like a rabbit would, and then just turn and hop along in the other direction. At honestly the kind of rate that a normal animal would move.
Well, I mean, at least so far they don't seem as erratically dangerous as the other ones. Hopefully water
Right.
still works.
Do we want to test that out first at all?
Let's
Let's
try to
save
not
our water.
Unless we have to.
Fair.
This is also reminiscent of her domain, even though it's not.
It's odd.
Did we ever ask her about these things?
One of them runs almost straight up to you guys, stops for a moment and looks at you, and then just runs past very quickly to the other side.
I don't know this.
Only asking because... Actually, Darius, you have her memories. Does she have any memory of...
Nope.
No, I can't say that she does. I remember we did ask a bit back. There wasn't any.
Right, yes.
Do we see these like light blue circle-y things?
Yes. They are areas where there's small batches of the grass forms a bit of a bubble, and there's light emanating from underneath that sort of pushes out. And these are also spots where the shroomites go up and start eating some of the grass around it.
Got you.
Curious.
You know, these might not be the threat that is contained here. They could be, but let's be wary of other things.
I severely doubt it. We can't be the only ones in history to have found a sensitivity to water.
Indeed. Perhaps that might just be one that was introduced in a different type. It might not be a natural weakness or whatever.
If it is, that would make sense given how they were used.
Well,
Uh,
I vote
sure
we
not
try not
keeping
to
up with
find
us.
out.
Right.
We'll gain more information before we go hitting things.
I'm frankly more curious about that statue over there.
Hey Zeus. Hey Refter.
Yes.
Give me a
Uh-oh.
perception.
Much better, much better.
And then a con save.
So
I
good.
want to sonic die that.
Okay. Rifter, what about you?
I'm sorry, I fucking... Oh, I'm a 25er.
Alright.
Damn it.
Zeus, you're a little preoccupied with that, rocking nursing that headache. But for Rifter, you see as on the top of this aqueduct, like the buttresses of this aqueduct-like structure, you see the slightest bit of just this shadow that moves up above it, and as you turn to look at it, you see as it darts behind the upper area. Something was watching you.
Gents, we have company again. Something was just watching us over by the statue.
Dare I say that be what we watch out for over the smaller ones?
Go.
Oh! That's not a thing. Well, yes. Zeus is going to get a dagger into his hand. In case anything jumps at them. Anything that's not the little toadstool things jumps at
Yeah.
You better watch out. I'm a sponge.
them.
Let's get closer and inspect that statue. Maybe there is some information. At least on the pedestal.
The vagueness makes me think it's something that can only be learned in here, so perhaps we'll get better answers.
While much of the statue is degraded, there is both a bit of the face and a bit of the placard at the bottom that still remains intact. The statue itself, everyone's able to observe, is of a particularly long-eared elf with a triumphant look upon their face. The placard at the bottom is written in Elvish.
Zeus,
Yes.
can you read this?
Let's see. Can I read this?
Yes, I will send you a message. He's gonna take
good.
notes and try to get an actual translation of it, because a lot of it is in old Elvish in a way that is, drastically out of date and one that is difficult to work with.
This is a little old school, but I believe I can still piece this together.
If you feel like
Counting
you
on you,
can't,
bud.
if you feel like you can't get the exact meaning, we do have the scrolls for this reason.
That is true. But save it for now. Let's see what I come up with. Rifter, you keep an eye out for whatever it is that you thought you saw.
Will do.
Okay, hold on. So it's something like, here the victory or conquest of, and you see this right here. This is scratched out, and I can't really make heads or tails of it. Here the victory of unreadable. The eyes of God seeds. Maybe the view of the before gods. Perfection of life or future from change of ancients, maybe.
What was that last bit?
Perfection of either life or future from change of, and then this last word is, I think, ancients. It's a bit harder than the other couple of words.
Okay. I'm gonna hazard a guess. At least appears to be is this guy conquered something, and gods liked it, and that made things good for the future.
Seems accurate.
Sternhoff, do you think you could maybe fix it so that the one word is legible again, or?
Let me take a try.
Despite the attempts, the area has been eroded into dust. It is not able to be mended. The name itself remains lost. Perhaps intentionally so.
Does it look intentionally, like, not eroded because it's not intentional, but like vandalized?
Yeah. It does.
This person not
I'm-
liked very much. Oh, sorry. Yes.
I'm
sure.
afraid it's too far gone to be mended, but pretty clear upon looking at it that's been vandalized, not eroded.
Aren't you?
Understandable.
Break of the statue, like the way the body is like broken off, does that also look intentional?
Less so.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it was vandalized in some way. Statues in general tend to be pretty strong propaganda.
So
Yes.
somebody didn't like this guy.
I mean, what would you do if you saw a statue praising the exploits of Philip Volstrom?
Yeah, that tracks.
We just don't know enough about it yet.
Let's continue
Fine.
deeper in. See if we can maybe find something out about thing that was watching us.
We'll keep an eye out on the points above us. Seems to be where we were watched from, right?
Yes.
I think more than ever, it's important that we keep to our formation now.
Right.
Riff, there's something off of how you said that this might have been translated. I think maybe I'm butchering the first bit a bit off. It might be more of success from the person who revealed the god seeds and perfected a future from ancient ways. Maybe feels a bit more accurate the more I think about this.
Maybe. I'm no linguistics, so you're definitely the authority on this one.
No, it's fair. I just wanted to put that out there so it's in all of our minds.
We can make our way
Understood.
back over here if we need the information more clarified once we've come a little bit further around. We've got quite a ways to go. We can
Yes,
perhaps
of
learn
course.
more. Come back here with a new frame of reference, use a scroll, see what it means more.
Yes.
Thorough.
Don't mean to hold us up from walking. Just walking
Not
along
at
as
all.
such.
And presumably we forge ahead.
Forge.
Forge. We got to know.
I'm
As
gonna
you
kill myself.
proceed further away from here, a lot more of it starts to become weathered and worn. There's a very clear trail of areas where these bulbs begin to seem to lead. Anywhere off of this path as it is looks a bit dimmer and a bit less smooth, but still possible to go off to the side. But for now, there's a great channel that's held up by two sets of pillars, one on either side, that reach up into the sky. This is the ancient city.
Really is odd that the elves made a city underground. Especially one of this magnitude. I don't think I've ever heard of a dwarven city this large. At least not one that's fully underground.
Perhaps that's destination they couldn't move.
Regardless, we press forward, I think.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna get some water real quick.
Intermission then?
Interbition.
Sure, we can do an intermission.
Fish.
Interbitchin.
Since we're at the end of this
Bitch.
map.
Hey, we're back. Did you look at that?
Hey. That we are.
Now that we've returned, is there anything else the party would like to do in this area?
Before we continue, Struenhoff would have made a point in saying that the city did not used to be sunken, but in fact happened at a later date.
Hmm. So the land up here used to look like this, presumably.
Presumably, yes. But we can only assume so much.
Do we continue then?
Yeah. I'd like to get through this and get out as quickly as possible.
Zeus is just going to keep his eyes up as they're walking.
Damn, nobody's make a comment on Rifter. Okay. As you take a few more steps forward, you get out from the area, or like this area here was already a little bit of a box of stoneworks, where on 3 out of the 4 sides there was a bit of a built-up wall. As you take a few steps forward out from this location, there is no longer walls on your north or south, and as a result, there is some rather harsh wind there that carries along these white bits of almost pollen or snow that travel at a very high speed along it, and every few minutes the wind dies down for about 20 seconds. Before picking up again. Luckily for you, alright. Luckily for you, you have Struenhoff.
Yes.
Thank you, Hoff Daddy.
Hoppy. All right.
What do you do?
We
Continue
continue
on.
onwards, I guess.
Or word, I don't.
Yeah,
Also,
we've been
there-
stuck at the edge of this map for like.
Oh, yep, yes, and I've said there's 3 different ways to go. You can go like off the path to the left, off the path to the right, or forward along the path.
Forward. Also, Rifter would like to head
That would be wonderful if we could hear what you just said.
Yeah, Rifter would like to head.
directly behind Lork. I wish to be behind Lork.
Ah.
You know, I just need a big, thick boy to stand in between.
Between.
Very true. The party makes their way forward a little bit through this area where the wind is more intense into the next area where there's a few isolated buildings, clearly very well used in their age and just as ancient as the rest of it around. These look more residential. They have areas where there was something that used to be a garden. They have nice small fireplaces, but all in all, the area is infected with this blue grass and occasional bits of mushroom. Actual mushroom, not just, shroomites.
Okay.
Does the party continue onwards or stick around?
I would actually like to inspect the mushrooms to see if they're related at all to the shroomites.
Okay, go ahead and give me a nature.
Damn. I was really hoping I wouldn't have to do that, but, you know, it is what it is.
Look what you made me do.
Look what you made.
Oh,
What do you
Hey!
mean?
but
What do
I'm
you
a high
mean
roller
you
today.
weren't hoping? Cooper.
I was coping.
These ones are mostly white, but they're mostly white on the cap with a little bit of a darker gray for the stem, which at least visually seems to distinguish it a lot. Additionally, these caps are much flat top. They're flat top with a gentle dome as opposed to the like spiked hat of the Shroomites. So your best guess would be that they're not.
Okay. In that case, Richter's just going to document the mushrooms for the notes. You will proceed.
The party makes their way down a little bit further. This is the last area in this continued little bit of an expanse where there's still buildings in sight, and there's a rather significant tower that spires up one of the sides, like the north side of the wall. It has an area where there's a little bit of a staircase, but that stops about 2/3 of the way up the wall, going from the top downwards, and the entire bottom 2/3 has no stairs on which to get up there. It goes up about 2 to 3 times as tall as anything else nearby.
If there's anything down here, I have a feeling it would be in that. That looks important, to say the least.
On a path continuing forward, there's still more of the blue lights sitting within the ground that illuminate the way, but there's no more structures that shield from the wind.
The lights definitely seem to be leading somewhere. I would agree. At the end of the day, I'll follow wherever you decide to take us.
So which way would the party like to go? Would they like to attempt to ascend into the tower somehow? Or would they like to continue on their path?
Rifter, Schoonhoff,
I think we should explore this path to the end.
alright.
Until we find that we can no longer.
Sounds good.
Okay. The party makes their way down more. There's a small pack of shroomites that ends up making it rather interesting for a bit, as a pack of perhaps 6 or 7 of them just scurry across, eat around the grass of one area, look over it and go, eep, and then continue running. Traveling a little bit more, you see that this area has a little bit more different types of terrain as it grows to be a slightly lighter color of blue, and there's a bit of cliff facings nearby as this series of breadcrumbs of glowing lights continues along in a gentle curve along a slope of a hilltop. Zeus, give me a con save.
Absolutely.
Everything
17.
seems to be going okay, and Zeus, you start to lose vision for a little bit, and you don't lose consciousness entirely, but it's enough to have a lapse in concentration and you fall down onto your knees for a moment. The rest of the
Zeus,
party around is able to hear him as he thumps and rush over to him.
Are you alright?
I'm having, I can't see too well.
What in the hell? What's happening here?
You start to see in your head for a moment visions of like a large puddle of perhaps green water, bunch of worms, and then you're snapped back into reality.
Whoa. There goes gravity. So like worms and like green water, I think.
Hmm.
Curious. I'm sorry, I don't know what it is or how to help.
We'll probably figure it out as we go in.
Okay.
Can you walk? Do you need help?
I think I can get help. Should I mean starting to worry it was a mistake to come down here. Didn't want to be too much of a burden.
It's hard.
Darius and Lorik say simultaneously.
Hey, by the way, I wanted to ask, since coming here, how many, like, sendings and speedy couriers, since leaving Jared Martivir, how many sendings and speedy couriers has Lorik received, from people, coming to him with information and, advice?
Most days only 2, but about once a week, probably 5 or 6.
Okay. We've only been gone for, like, 3 days, haven't we?
I thought it was 4, but it could be 3.
Mm-hmm.
Either
Okay.
way, there's one day that, like, a lot of the reports come in one day a week.
Okay.
It's kind of, the legislative day. It's like, hey,
Yeah.
I know how it
today's
goes.
is alright, right?
Mm-hmm.
Despite Zeus's minor fainting, the party pushes on and continues on that trail.
Uh-oh.
There are a large amount of tall white mushrooms, many of which tower over you, being about probably 14 feet tall at their tallest, but many of them only reaching up to be about the same size as each of you. Is that Skyrim?
Yeah.
I really should have played more of Skyrim. That sounds cool.
Blackreach is a huge underground cavern that connects all of the Dwemer cities. That is full of mushrooms and bioluminescence, and the Falmer live under there.
Huh.
And Shed's almost like a second overworld, just much smaller.
At this point, the party has been traveling quite a while, and while not necessarily geared up for sleep, it certainly seems like it would be a good time to rest. The party can choose to push on or attempt to set up some form of camp.
It's
My
up to you lot.
Yeah. Everyone should. We should relax for a little bit. Try and get ourselves better geared. See if we can't help Zeus feel better.
Right.
Ugh.
Oh yeah, JC. Have I been following the threads still?
The threads disappeared when you got to the entranceway to the great city. Each of the 4 splays out to one corner of the doorway, and the threads pulled together and closed the door behind you when the wall became, well, a wall instead of a doorway.
I see.
Oh. Hey, Sternhoff, check out these notes. Is this looking... Show some large descriptions of pretty much every...
Please repeat.
He shares his notes with Strunhoff. A lot of it is detail. A lot of things that are pretty much not going to be necessary unless, for whatever reason, the detail of the wall murals is really, really important. But yeah, a lot of meticulous detail back and forth. Right now, most of his notes are about the most of his current notes on the 6th floor are about the mushrooms and the way that they look and their relationship to the shroomites.
Yes, these are quite extensive. Good job.
Rifter nods.
Hopefully your efforts won't be in vain.
I mean, I'm sure we can find a way out of here. I've actually been curious. I'm not going to try it now. It's a last-ditch effort, but I wonder if being intangible would work as in, change.
Well, if his influence can reach you, then perhaps it will work.
I'm also curious if my colleagues will be able to reach me down here.
That, I would say, is unlikely, as there are numerous reports of magic being unable to function in some capacity in here.
Hopefully they don't panic about not being able to reach me. I did give them a time frame of about how long to expect us to be gone if we do come back, but
There's no telling time is passing normally.
my thoughts exactly.
So is the party attempting to take a break here or push forward?
That is up to everyone else.
I vote take a break.
Yeah, I second that, despite having no metric for the time of day.
At the very least, we can use the duration of some spells as a yardstick. Speaking of, the light spells are gone by this point, right?
Yep, but the entire area remains lit.
It might be useful to, even though it serves no real benefit, upkeep the light spell to just serve as a means of measuring time.
It did go out a while ago, but you can continue to do it to keep track from here.
Let me see what time. 1 hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will continue to do so since it doesn't cost any real resources.
That you know of. Boom, boom, boom,
Only your sanity.
boom, boom, boom,
I gave that up in the war.
boom.
The wind is still a little harsh up here. There's a gentle recess in the area a little bit to the northeast of here, where it dips down and gives a bit of shelter from the wind, at least perhaps hopefully to give Stunhoff a little bit of a break. You could potentially go down there. Otherwise, if you're getting tired of the brighter overlight above, you could take shade underneath one of the mushrooms, or simply pack a squat where you are, right around one of these lights. Or anything else, really. You guys are the ones adventuring, not me.
Sternhoff, it's up to you. This is your journey.
I suppose I'll give myself a break then.
Alright.
I assume Daria stays within Schoenhoff's bubble?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I want Zeus back. Wow, that really is kind of the same sort of idea of what I'm going with. Damn.
We are the ones who got Skyrimmed. As you rip off your mask to reveal that you are Todd Howard.
No. I'm ashamed to share a name with him. No.
Yeah.
Dude, we need 16 times the detail.
Was that Zeus being back?
No, that's me.
No, I know
No,
you
that
said it,
That was
but
me. That
the
was me
ruffling.
creaking. Yeah.
He is the creaker of the storm.
This guy. Can't tell his friends apart. I get it, dude. All white people sound the same. I get it.
No, true.
Hot take. All people sound the same. Vocal cords don't make that different of a noise.
So true. There's a gentle creak of just far off in the distance, followed by what sounds almost like a mechanical bit of thunder, where it's a groan of a giant piece of something as it stretches and just sends a reverberation throughout the entire area.
You know what this reminds me of, strangely enough?
Hmm?
Aside from her realm. You remember that floor where Strudenhoff got that gem?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That sound just now reminded me of the machines that we dismantled as part of that gauntlet.
I remember that.
I wonder if that's related at all.
Perhaps. All I know is that the feel of it, the wave of it, like a great beast breathing in and out. It reminds me of her realm.
Aye.
Perhaps it's a reflection of hers.
I suppose we'll find out in due time.
Hopefully not too long.
Is this back yet?
I just got back. Yeah.
Let's go.
Hey, welcome back.
Welcome back. Roll a
My
concept.
apologies.
Well, yeah, totally. Roll a concept. Roll a concept. Don't
Sounds
do
good.
it. Don't do it. Oh, okay, he did it. Okay, it's okay. It's okay.
Oh, sorry,
You're
sorry,
feeling. You're feeling
I'm still
better,
on the roll.
actually.
Fuck.
Now you have to delay between con saves.
Yeah, so true, so true. So what does the party actually do for this rest, aside from sit down? Anything significant?
Pretty sure I have.
Eat the dirt.
Yumby dirt.
This is a short rest, correct?
Well, that's up to the party.
Oh, sorry. I thought that had already been decided on. My bad.
I mean, I think mechanically you're just sitting down for a few minutes.
Gotcha.
See, now I thought non-mechanically that was you trying to get us to take a break.
Oh.
Yeah,
Nah.
I see. I was the fool. I was the stinky baby.
Hey,
Yes.
Zeus. Hey, Rifter.
Uh-oh.
Hey.
Give me a perception.
Oh, we're going to see this fucker this time.
Oh,
Holy
wow.
fucking shit, they see.
He's
Rifter
certainly
has
gonna
special
see
eyes.
the fucker, but it's not the same fucker. Rifter first sees it, and when Zeus sees Rifter turn his head and look at it, Zeus is able to look and see the same thing. Over here, underneath this mushroom, on the right side, on the underside of it, there's this
Yeah.
thing that looks almost like a turtle that's under it, and it has two eyes that are looking straight at the group. It blends in mostly with a whitish gray shell, but there's tiny bits of it that have blue and purple that are closer to the part that mounts it to the bottom side of the mushroom that give it away a little bit. It is unsettling.
Lads, there's seems like a turtle. I don't know, but it's over there. It's staring at me.
Well, be careful.
Do we want to investigate?
If all of you do, I'm not quite sure what to make of this place, so I'd like to be cautious, but
I feel
we'll gain
like
nothing by not doing anything.
What
I
about
was
under the other mushrooms?
DM, as Rifter looks around.
this will also
You
help.
look around super specifically and don't see any of them on ones nearby, but there's a second one up here and one north of you. And
Wait,
there's
where was
also
up here?
one right here.
Okay.
And there's also one off screen to the southwest, but that one is way farther away now that you know what you're looking for.
I point these out. I say, I see one there. I see one there. I would like to say we could live and let live, but I don't know how territorial these.
They're all
we want to
roughly
approach?
equidistant to you.
Look, don't get me wrong, guys. I love going out there and killing things as much as possible. However, I feel like I know what's going to happen. As soon as we walk a little bit close, these things are going to jump out, try and kill us, and then we're going to lose a lot of, our energy. It's just not going to
For
be
now,
good.
let's just leave them alone.
Or we can throw things at them from really far away, because they're turtles. I mean, how fast can they be?
We shouldn't provoke them.
Fair.
For now, just watch for further reactions. And in a few minutes, once we've caught our breath, we continue onward, trying not to aggravate them.
When we
If
look,
anybody wants to, you can go ahead and mechanically take a short rest.
Very pog.
I haven't used anything that would require it, but
Yeah.
nice.
No,
try.
Rogue moment.
I don't know if there's a thing that makes you recover a side dice on a short rest or anything like that.
Actually, yes, there is.
Yeah.
side I do.
Yeah, you can use a bonus action to recover a side eye once per short rest.
Yo, all right, I do. Thank you, Kevin.
Why the fuck would that need a bonus action?
Well, because it's a
don't
bonus
know.
action during an actual thing rather than just, as part of the short rest, I think.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's a nice little bonus.
So yeah,
It's
if
an
you'd
action,
used
it's a nice little bonus.
if you'd used it before taking the short rest, you would have it again now for later.
Which I
Yeah,
think he
but-
does.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah, just
that's
being a
what I
little bit
did.
generous with it.
Well,
Based.
Didn't know about it.
okay.
I don't use these things all that fast.
I mean, it's just game theory optimal that if you're not going to use your bonus action on something, just as soon as you have one empty, you use it.
Yeah.
Right? So, anyway.
Looking at these things' eyes, does it seem like? Nah. Okay. I'll ask this question. Does it seem like more intelligent than like a creature? Like it's thinking of more things than
They
like.
are remaining almost perfectly still. Two of them have disappeared. Only the one far to the right of you is visible currently.
Where'd they disappear to?
You
They
look
wouldn't
around and you
exactly-
do not find them.
Oh, we didn't see them move. They just. Poof.
They wouldn't have exactly disappeared if we knew where they went.
Well, I don't know. Look, maybe they disappeared from y'all's vision, but you know.
That being said, I would like to reactivate sea invisibility.
Understandable.
Just so
And
you
I'll
all know.
take a look out there myself.
You aren't able to see any of the other ones, but about probably 4 or 5 minutes after you've activated that, you see as it sort of disappears from existence underneath the canopy of one of this mushroom, and then reappears a little bit farther away at this mushroom, after quickly darting through the air and then mounting itself up on the bottom side of that mushroom, and its shell changes to a similar color to that mushroom as it recamouflages itself before coming out of invisibility.
Didn't teleport, but it dashed.
It went
Basically.
invisible and sort of flying squirrel-like jumped and glided to the next one,
Okay.
and then turned,
like-
faced you, mounted itself, and unstealthed, invisible.
Can I? Are the other ones at any other mushrooms now?
Not that you can currently see. But guesses would be good that they probably are.
Looks like my assumptions were correct.
What do you see them?
I point out to the one east of us. The one hanging out there just turned invisible and not teleported, but seemingly dashed through the air to that further mushroom, and I point to the new one that is now resting at.
Even for Zeus, it's a little hard to identify at that distance, but eventually he's able to pick it out.
I think
Looks
we
like-
keep following. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I think we keep following the path now that we're rested up a bit.
Sure enough.
Yes.
Would you mind giving me 2 perceptions?
Oh dear.
Aw,
Wow.
Papa and baby are in sync.
Oh no, they're both old.
I'd say Stork probably has a slightly better sense of it. So Stork probably makes some sort of feeling to you that something feels wrong underneath. And
I see.
after hearing that, you're able to sort of listen in and confirm that there's something strange. Maybe it's another one of those groans that you heard earlier that snapped in the air.
Is it seismic?
It is.
As I get up, I urge everyone to move out of the canopy of the mushroom.
Right.
It gets stronger, then it gets weaker for a moment, and much softer and much quieter. Like it completely stopped.
Strange. Just about to leave anyways, so just a bit of seismic activity.
Not exactly comforting to hear when we're this far below ground.
Quite. Whatever it is has subsided.
I'm gonna spoil it a touch and ask the party to get in general marching order as they begin moving again.
Okay. I'm directly behind Lorik.
So Lord Grifter,
Y'all are
Sternhoff,
professionals at
Garrison?
this point. Yeah.
Mhm.
And then whatever your actual, like, it's probably a little staggered from that, probably more like, you know, something like that, right?
Mhm.
Something like...
No, dude, we're all directly behind each other like a final.
Mm.
And we're all just perfectly Mother Goosing Lorik.
So true. In about 2 seconds, Schoenhoff is able to pick up on again that yes, that rumbling in the exact same tone picks up again, and in fact is getting exceptionally loud. It's very easy to track, and in the last half second of it, the rest of the party's able to hear as well, as there is suddenly a giant rupture to the top right of where the party currently is.
Oh, here we go.
And this massive hole ruptures out, and a whole bunch of these purple and blue creatures just begin to spill forth and get shot out from it. The most key of which, if I can actually fucking select the tokens I wanted to select.
Skill issue.
No! I don't want to have a skill issue. There we go. The most significant of which being some weird fucking giant purple worm with like 4 different tongues being ridden by some blue dude. It's fucking weird. And it's not very good.
Oh, shit.
Oh my.
Anyway, I assume that the party wants to stop there since y'all were saying it kind of felt like a stopping point earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, if everyone's down to call tonight, I'm down to.
I don't know. I mean, how long is it going to take? 2 rounds to kill this guy?
Yeah, dude, I break out change. I go, I kablamo him, and then he dies. Easy dub, easy dub.
That's what I'm saying.
Is stealth an option?
I don't know if stealth is really a good option versus a purple worm and some Umber Hulks.
Nah, dude.
I'm sorry, some what?
Umber Hulks.
Look,
But
guys,
we
I
can
just
fight these
teleport me and all of them up to the surface and then try and teleport back down. I'm like, guys, we did it.
things.
We did it, Patrick. We saved the city.
Yeah,
Really?
no, we can wrap it.
Nah. We wrap up. With that,
Actually, wait,
I'm
hold
glad
on,
that-
hold on.
Oh.
How, like, how do the turtle creatures react to this happening? Are they all just gone?
they are still staring. At this point, you're able to identify 2 of them. They are staring straight at you.
Hmm. That doesn't bode well.
I'm sure it's fine.
They're just testing us. They're like, how strong really are these guys? We want to see. This is going to be a good fight.
Yeah, I've got to power up and make them break their scouters.
Well, with that as fun as I know that would be, apparently the party has decided that will be a cliffhanger for now and an adventure for later. And with that, I hope everyone had a good time, and
Oh, yeah.
I'm ready to call it. So,
Yeah.
glad everybody had a good time, and I will catch you next week. Say goodbye to the stream.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi, gay baby.
Bye.
Whoa!